Welcome to Local Focus. Football season finally over. I, for one, am very happy to usher in the basketball season, and a lot of exciting hoops already played in the city. Some big stars have already dropped some 40-point games. I know Jalen Holland did last night. So who better to usher in the basketball season with than La Cueva's Jordyn Dyer? Talk some girls hoops today, right? Like it's
Yes,
early
sir.
enough in the season, and welcome, by the way.
Thank you for having me.
It's early enough in the season where we can still do season preview, right?
Yes, of
So
course.
let's talk about your team first.
So our team, we're a little young on the aspect of we don't have too many girls that have a lot of varsity experience, but we obviously have Eva Love, she's a returner. You know, Tony Lucero, she's a returner, and we have some other girls that are returning. So they're seniors, so they're just trying to take on that leadership role and just make sure everybody's in line. And then I'm a returner, of course, but we have just some young ones, some girls that are committed to soccer that it's kind of their first time playing basketball, so they're aggressive and they know they're athletic, but we're just trying to get them in the grind of basketball. So, and they're getting there. Our team is getting there. We just have a good team this year, so we're just all trying to work together, put the pieces together, and hopefully we'll be good this year.
There definitely have been some changes, right? Because you have that group of freshmen that all came in together.
Yes.
They've kind of come and gone, right? And so Eva's kind of the link between that group and the new group, right? And here you are up and coming. And so fair to say that not a lot of people are talking about you guys because they're under the radar a little bit?
Yeah, we're definitely a little underrated this year. I think that it's good for us because we still have a lot to prove. We lost a lot of seniors last year. We lost big key, like all of our starters pretty much left this year or this year. So we have big shoes to fill, and I don't mind, everybody overlooking us because we still have a lot to prove, and we will. So I'm very excited for this year, actually.
Is it kind of easier to go about your business when no one's talking about you? You just go in the gym and work. Like, do you guys prefer that? Does coach prefer that?
I mean, I think we don't mind it. It's definitely like our time to go. So we're just really eager to just do our best and just get back up in the coaches' polls and just on everybody's radar. But I don't think we mind it. We're willing to work hard up for our spot. So, I mean, it is what it is and we'll get there. So.
There's obviously a couple of programs in your district that get a lot of headlines,
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
And so when we look at that district, obviously you have Bella over at El Dorado, and we'll start there, right? Basketball's a team game, so is there enough around her this year? Do you think El Dorado will be better? What's the scouting report on El Dorado from your perspective?
I definitely think every year Bella gets better. She's a really good player, so it could go either way. I think her team's pretty much stayed the same, but she's really good. She's a really good athlete. So I think that it's always up in the air, always playing her. It's so competitive because we know that's who we have to focus on. And then she'll always dish it to some girls that can make a couple shots. So I just think, it could go either way, but I think she's a great player. So she'll always find ways to make her team better.
Now, as a defender, do you kind of have those circled? Like, okay, I'm gonna have these dates on my calendar because I'm gonna be guarding, right?
Yeah, definitely 100%. When we play her, we'll probably face guard her, do whatever we can to stop her from scoring. But I definitely think it's a team thing. You know what I mean? Like we're all pretty good defenders. So if I get in foul trouble, Eva will pick up on her, and so on. Tony will pick up on her. So I think it's just getting our head in it and just knowing that we do not want her to score because she's the main girl that can put it in the basket.
Now, do you guys have a number in mind when you play a player like that before the game, or is it just, hey, whatever the score, as long as the scoreboard's on the right side at the end of the game,
we
doesn't
definitely
matter?
try to keep not great teams to under 25 points. So, she scores, she averages a lot, so it's definitely harder. But I think as long as our goal is always to try to get her frustrated and out of her game. So I think that if we could do that and just play good defense as well as offense as well, just getting it to the rim, sharing the ball, I think we're good. But definitely the focus is on her, trying to shut her down. So.
And then what about the rivalry aspect? Because those games get a little intense too, right? So talk about that.
They're always very, very competitive. But I think at the end of the day, we all have respect for each other. So I think that's the best part of it is we can be rivals, but also know like we respect each other. So, I think it's great. I love having rivalry games. Like, even against Sandia, they're in our district. I've played with most of those girls since I was younger. So, I think just playing against them, seeing them do great, as well as myself, it's always awesome.
So, great segue. Sandia was the next team I was going to kind of mention. Obviously, a lot of buzz around that program always, right? The last couple of years. So, what makes them tough?
I think that all of them being able to get to they can all do different things really great. They're all mainly shooters, but they can all get to the rim and defend well and share the ball as well with each other. And I think that's like, they have 5 great players on the court at once. And it's hard to stop that when you have a team full of really good players. So, I mean, I think it's awesome. And
what's the bigger rivalry? Is it that natural rivalry with El Dorado, or is it the Sandia rivalry? Because let's face it, they're a little better than El Dorado, right?
I would have to say probably Sandia, just because last year we did beat them in all of our district games. So I know that this year it's going to be so competitive. They're out for us. They're out to get us. And I think since we lost so many girls, they'll definitely feel a little bit more confident. So we have that side that we got to like prove to them that like it's still going to be a competitive game. So I think it's still going to be a good rivalry, just because all of those girls, I mean, I play with most of them in AAU too. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because
yeah.
right, like it's a rivalry, right? And they've got visions of the blue trophy over there. But then it's like, well, wait a minute, you guys got to beat La Cueva first, right?
Yes.
Because you guys did handle them in the district last year.
Yes, it was. They were good games too. All of them were super duper. I mean, they were close until a little bit at the end, but good players, good teams. So, I mean, it was definitely good games to watch.
What is it about those 3 teams that we just talked about where it gets a little crazy in the stands, I noticed?
Yeah, it does. It gets, everybody loves to just talk. And I think it's mainly just out of like getting in their game. A lot of girls like to, that fuels them just talking to each other. But I definitely think that, I mean, I think it's all out of love at the end of the day.
Right.
It's just competitive, and all of us can get to the rim. We're all great on the offensive side as well as defensive side. So I just think it's competitive, just going at one another, just playing basketball, really. So
now, what about Farmington's? Usually pretty competitive. That's a tough place to play. I mean, usually you have a foul before you get off the bus, right? So like that's a tough environment, and they're usually pretty good. So how much do they have left?
I think they still have both of the sisters, and they're awesome. They're
You're
awesome
not going to try to say their name? Or?
It's hard. I know Sugar and Bam Bam. That's what we call them. That's their nickname. I play with Bam Bam for AAU, so she's awesome. But no, it's definitely hard to say their names. But the atmosphere when we play them is crazy. I remember last year, couldn't even hear my coach from the sideline. So they're always a good team. Never overlook them because they always have pretty good players. So. But I'm so excited to play against them as well in district.
So what do you guys have to do to win that district? I would imagine that's always goal number 1, right? Is win your district.
Definitely.
So what do you have to do to take care of that?
I mean, it's going to be hard. I think for my team, the biggest thing is going to be shutting down those players, but also having enough in us to just move around the ball and just get ours on offense as well, because I feel like my coach Moose, she loves to focus on defense, but then we forget about the offensive side of it. So I think as long as we lock down on defense, that fuels our offense, and then we'll get going, and then hopefully we'll win that ball game. But it's going to be tough, so hopefully we'll pull through for that one.
You mentioned the defense and the focus on defense there. How tough was that to get used to when you first got there? Like, I mean, because it is intense. She plays a physical, intense style of defense that not a lot of teams play. When you went in last year as a freshman, like, what were some of the adjustments?
Honestly, I adjusted to their defense a little. It was a little different, but I've always grown up loving defense. I've loved defense more than offense my whole basketball career. So I didn't think it was that much of a change, but just adjusting to their defense was definitely a little harder because we're always in help side more and helping the backside. But I love it. I love the way that we play defense. I think we play very aggressive, and I think that's what I've always just liked about defense, is being able to get steals and just talk to our teammates, communicate, and then also on offense being able to just get out, run, push the ball in transition. So I definitely love that.
What about, now we talked about district, but again, early in the season will be the Metro Tournament. And I think one of the great changes to the Metro Tournament is some of these outside teams that play. So the Eagles of Hobbs will be in that tournament again. It's kind of cool to see the state champs in that tournament. It's not cool to see them with the big Albuquerque trophy all the way in Hobbs, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit. I mean, is that an early season goal? Like, hey, if we make our way through this, maybe we get an early crack at them?
I mean, it definitely is. We lost to them last year by 2 in the semifinals of state. So, I mean, there's always that wanting to beat them. We also lost to them in Metro last year as well, I think second round. So we love playing Hobbs because we don't play them that often. So just getting to play them, I mean, they have really good players as well, a good program. So I'm super excited to play against them. It is definitely a goal is to beat them because they're a really good team. So we're definitely excited, but we just gotta get through our district, try to get to Metro, and just figure everything out. So
You're good at this television thing because you mentioned that matchup against Hobbs in the playoffs. We'll take a break and we'll pick it up there when we get back with Jordyn.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Back with La Cueva's Jordyn Dyer, we were talking about just season preview, that kind of stuff, and you alluded to that matchup last year against Hobbs, 44-42 in the playoffs. Take us through that, because that was like your introduction to high school basketball, and that game was wild.
That game was crazy. We started off so strong. I think it was like 10-2 first quarter. We were off. We were ready to go. We already had a game plan going into that game. We knew they were a great team. We lost to them by like 15 in Metro, so we knew what we had to do. Like already we were watching film, pre-gaming, all of that. And so, it was a crazy game. There was a lot of people there. Student section was there. And just going through that game, there were so many emotions. So much happened in the last quarter that I felt like I had to take on a bigger role as a freshman than I thought that I would have to. So I definitely had to step into some leadership roles. But I think overall...
Yeah, you definitely didn't look like a freshman in that game.
I definitely had to step out of my comfort level a little bit and just, do what I know I had to do. And so, it was a great game. It was an awesome game. Just my freshman year, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was awesome. So
was there a game, was there a moment in the regular season where a game was that physical and that intense, or was that it for that season? That was the most intense. Was it kind of like that was like the aha moment? Like, wow, this is pretty
No,
legit.
I would definitely say playing Hobbs in Metro. That was like my first
whoa.
Yeah, I was definitely ready for it because I knew how they were going to be, how they were going to guard me and everything. So that was definitely like my first wake up moment. I was like, oh wow, we're in high school for sure now. You can tell the difference. So, but definitely playing them the second time, I was less scared because I played them the first time. So I was just ready to go, ready to prove something. So,
obviously they're talented, right? Mm-hmm. Coach Carpenter, good friend of mine, think very highly of him, right? And what he does there with Hobbs, it's just kind of impressive, right? Mm-hmm. From the player's perspective, what's so impressive about what they do? It seems to me like they do everything at a different speed and things like that, but what do you see as a player?
I definitely think that their team chemistry is off the charts. They look for each other. They support each other. When somebody gets knocked down, they're running to go help each other up. I think that's definitely the most important thing of basketball is being there for one another, and that's what they do great. So I think that's how they're such a great team. Their chemistry is awesome. They work hard for each other, and I think that's pretty much what builds a team, and that's what they do. So that's why they're such a great team.
So what was going through your head at the pit when everything started getting a little cray-cray?
It was definitely like a different, it was a little, my vision was a little off. I was just trying to get used to everything. The lights, it felt like I was right in the spotlight. The lights were beaming right down on us. So I was just, I had to keep my composure. I feel like I remained calm for the most part. So it was
Well, what about the actual incident? Like, what was going through your mind then?
I definitely think that things could have been handled a little bit different, but I think it was mainly just a basketball play. I feel like we were just both so competitive, and everything just kind of happened out of just aggressiveness.
Right.
So, I think that it just kind of happened like that. But, we moved on, and everything's okay. So, yeah.
So where did all this athleticism start? Because I know, obviously basketball star now. You're still doing track.
Yes.
But where, take us back to way back in the time machine.
When I was younger, my first real sport was dance. I loved dance, and then I eventually transitioned into cheer. And then my parents were like, I want you to be more of an athlete. So I started transitioning into soccer, I-9 soccer, and then track. And just...
Who's a better dancer, you or Kobe McGill?
Oh, that's a tough one. He's a good dancer, but I would definitely have to give it to myself.
Okay, all right.
I love making TikToks, love dance. I still love to dance. It's still in me, but I definitely, growing up, I was definitely cheerleader, dancer, and then I started transitioning into track, soccer. So.
Naturally so, because of the history in your house?
Yeah,
right?
my mom and my grandma were both dancers, cheerleaders growing up too, so I think that's where I got it from. But my dad playing football and some of his family doing track, basketball, I knew I just had to, kind of get out of that.
So what came after dance and cheer then? You picked up some football, some soccer, what else?
Oh, I also did flag football that was actually when I was like 12. I did some flag football, which I loved that. It was super fun. And then I did I-9 soccer and track. I started track at like the age of 8. And I think I still have the record in long jump for 9 and 10 division. So I feel like I've always just blossom more in those kind of sports. Track, I love track, but definitely love basketball way more. So
now I'm sure everyone thinks like, oh, it's got to be great growing up at Dyer, right? Everyone's an athlete. All these athletes, they went to college to do this. There's got to be immense pressure that comes with that as well, though, right?
No, it definitely is. I'm the only girl like in terms of siblings in my family, so I'm definitely held to a higher expectation. But I think like following behind my brother's footsteps, it's awesome. Both of my brothers have paved the way for me and Cam. Dev has paved the way for both of us. So I just think that like following behind his footsteps, but also trying to do better than he has done. I just think it's awesome just being in this family where we're all athletes. We support each other, but we also push each other in everything. Even board games, we were so competitive in little just things in our life.
That was going to be my next question.
That,
so what are you and Cam the most competitive at?
I would definitely say board games, but we also get into it. Basketball, we're always one-on-oneing, so we get really competitive there, and then he'll go out sometimes, throw the ball to me, and I'll help him. I'll be his little wide receiver. So we're also very competitive but supportive of each other at the same time, and I think that's just what makes us so great as siblings.
All right, we do a top 5 list here, right?
Yes.
All right, it's time.
Yes.
Top 5 things we don't know about Jordyn Dyer. Number 5.
I'm an Irish twin, and I don't know if you know what that means, but that means that me and Cam are 11 months apart. Okay. So we're so close in age, and I think that's why we're so competitive too. Is we're extremely close in age, so everything we do a competition.
So Irish twin. I thought that had something to do with like drinking. Or
no, definitely not. Yeah.
All right, okay. Number 4.
I would have to say I love Peppa Pig. I don't know. It's a show. It's a show that I always grew up watching, and I love watching TV. So
tell us about that show?
It's a show with it's an animated show, and it's with pigs, and it's just one happy little family, and they'll go jump in puddles together, clean. It's like a cute little kid show, but okay. I love to watch it.
All right, Jason, have you heard our director Jason? That's his realm, anime stuff like that. Have you heard of that? All right.
Awesome.
Number 3.
Since I got out of this, but ever since like up to the age of 12, I used to every restaurant. It didn't matter what restaurant I went to. I used to order mac and cheese and mashed potatoes. That was it. That was literally just it. No meat, just the mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. That was it.
There's nothing wrong with mac and cheese.
Yes, I mean, it's
good,
awesome.
right? When did you grow out of that? You said 12?
Like 12.
So
Like,
it took a
it was
while.
recently. Like,
Like,
actually.
did it drive your parents nuts?
It
or-
drove them nuts. Like, I would go to a soul food place and get mac and cheese and mashed potatoes. That was it. No catfish, no chicken, none of that. Just mac and cheese and mashed potatoes. So
Not even like the cobbler after?
nothing. Just mac and cheese and mashed potatoes.
I can get behind the mac and cheese,
Yes.
but like I would never pass. Well, I wouldn't pass up the greens, that's for sure.
yeah.
Couldn't pass up the catfish, like you said, and then the
Yes.
cobbler. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Number 2. Are we on number 2?
Yes, we're on number 2. I would definitely. Me and my brother. This is also why we're so competitive. But we both grew up. We knew how to play chess. So I was a really good chess player when I was younger, and so we'd always compete over because it's really like a mental game, and you kind of have to be smart with your moves and stuff. So I love chess. I still love chess, but I was really good at it when I was younger.
Number 1 thing we don't know about you.
I would definitely have to say that. I mean, it's not too interesting, but my favorite player is definitely Asia Wilson. I love the way that she plays. And,
What about her game?
I love everything. I love how strong she is around the rim and how she's just so impactful to her team. And I think, like, some people have said that I play similar to her. And so I love watching her play, how hard she plays, how like, she's just a leader on the court. And I just love that the most about her, so.
All right. That was a good top 5 list.
Mm-hmm.
Well delivered.
Thank you.
You mentioned soul food.
Love soul food.
Before we go to break, are you Team Frank's or Team Nexus if you had a choice? So unless you have another spot in town that we should know about.
Papados.
Okay.
Papados. I love Papados.
okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
right.
They have everything, and everything is good too. Every time, like, I try to go and get something new, I usually don't. But every time I ask people what they get from Papados, they always tell me different things. Everybody loves their food, so I definitely have to say there for sure.
So, if you're the owner of any of these establishments, your NIL opportunity is right here. We'll be right back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
We're back with La Cueva's Jordyn Dyer. Obviously, you have a lot of years left at La Cueva, right? But I'm sure the fact that your brother is going through the recruiting thing a little bit now, it's probably already on your mind too, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Definitely playing AAU, it's so competitive. We travel to a lot of East Coast states where there's a bunch of college coaches. So I've definitely gotten recognition. I just got to continue it. But I think that, just talking to different coaches, what they want from me, it definitely stays on my mind while I'm playing. I know what I have to do just to get there. So, I'm just trying to continue to work hard so that I can eventually get to the place that my brother's in, calling coaches every day, getting offers and stuff. So it's a crazy process, but there's nothing like it for sure.
So what was that process like between freshman year and sophomore year? Like what kind of feedback were you already getting? What kind of improvements did you make? Take us through that off season and how it relates to recruiting and playing at the next level?
I would definitely say this year I have a bigger role on my team than I did last year, losing a lot of seniors. So that's pretty much what a lot of the coaches told me. They told me I got to shoot more. I got to be more of a, a player that the offense goes through me. So I knew that that's what I have to do. So this year I'm really trying to improve on that, just shooting more, going to the rim, as well as drawing fouls and just being a spark on defense, directing my teammates so they know where to go so they're not lost on the court. So just really being a leader, I think that's what a lot of the coaches said that I have to do, as well as being able to dribble, take up the ball, but also know my place on the wing. So I'm definitely just trying to fill the role of being more of a, a key player on the offense as well as the defensive side of it.
How much of a relief is it knowing that so many members of your family have gone through this process, so you have that support system that's there, that it's not foreign to you at all, right?
I definitely think that it's awesome because they know exactly what I'm going through when I'm frustrated. If I feel like I'm not doing good enough, they know that I just got to keep working hard and never settle for anything. I always have something to work on. And so I think that them just supporting me, but also like knowing how good I am as a player is just awesome as well. So there's nothing like being in this family. It's awesome.
Everyone has a dream school or two, right? So what are some of those programs for you?
South Carolina is always a dream program for every girls basketball player, but I also love UT, University of Texas. So my mom's from Texas. I would love to go there and just, play. I love the way that they play, and I just definitely would love to go there for sure.
UCLA, number 2 in the country now.
Yeah, I know. They're great too. They're awesome. UCLA, right? I like them too a lot, yes.
And then what else goes into that? I mean, the academic piece, I think we don't talk enough about it, right? Mm-hmm. But what else goes into that, getting ready to play at the next level and going to college?
Definitely academics are a big, coaches they always ask me about my grades. The first thing they ask if I'm a good kid. And so I definitely grind really hard in the classroom. I'm a straight A student. I definitely value academics very, very well. And I think that, it's basketball, and then I'm coming home and I'm doing homework. I'm on it, and I never try to procrastinate because I know I'll never probably do it. So I just I get in the classroom, do what I need to do, and get out, go to basketball, and then come back home, more school, and just repeat the cycle. So.
Well, we look forward to watching this year. Good luck. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching, everybody, and good night.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.